We're talking about this because we've been chatting a lot about the brand new sitcom Android. Diane Morgan plays a well-meaning but a bit clumsy, shall we say, robot carer named Linda. Here is a bit of the opening moment of the show.
We all worry about looking after our loved ones as they get older. But at Queric Medical, we've developed a diverse range of compassionate, reliable and attentive care support humanoid workers to offer round-the-clock home care at an affordable monthly subscription. Each robot is unique whilst meeting British robot safety standards. And if your loved one would feel more comfortable with a familiar face, we have a variety of robots who look identical to beloved personalities.
And that is where Rylan Clark has a little cameo, which was very enjoyable. So how far have we actually got with this kind of technology? Dr. Rodrigo Perez Vega is from the Henley Business School and can help us answer that question. Good morning.
Good morning, Katie.
So you've seen clips of the series and we've just played that little advert that opens the show. But how realistic is what we see on Android? Surely we're not at the level of a human-looking robot caring for people.
Well, I mean, we are not at the same level as what we have seen in this show, but definitely we already have some social robots and human-like robots in people's homes. And this is not only in places like China or Japan, which tends to be the places where we think adoption is quite high. But at the business school, we've been working with robotic companies here in the UK that are trialing these technologies at home, in care homes, etc.
And you've been working with a robot called Genie. Can you tell us a bit about Genie?
Sure. So Genie is a social robot. It's not a humanoid robot per se, because it's a bit smaller. It's like tabletop size, and it doesn't have any hands, so it's less threatening. And Genie has been designed to provide support at home. And through Genie, people can talk to a human as well, such as a social worker or an occupational therapist, but also Genie is able to remind you to, have a glass of water, remind you about your medicine, and basically check on you and have a conversation with you.
Okay, but these aren't real-time conversations with the actual robot? These are they sort of like programmed reminders, and then you can also talk to a human through Genie?
So this is more like a hybrid model. So you can talk to a human, and the way Genie is set up is that if, for example, a local authority has set it up, people could have access to care with a human through Genie, but also because of the evolution of generative AI and large language models, now this kind of technology can also have pretty decent conversations with you and remember what you have said.
Wow. Remembering what you said, it's so clever. But Dr. Rodrigo, it does make me go, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for this sort of thing. How do you feel about it?
Well, more than how I feel about it, we've been conducting research asking the UK public, and we have asked people aged 18 to 80 years old because we're interested in how the whole population feels about it. And overall, it's like mixed feelings. I mean, some people think like, oh, wow, this sounds pretty cool. It can help me do my chores, help me with the laundry and all that. And people get very excited for that. But there are more concerns once we start feeling that the robot will replace care that we would normally get from a parent or a family member. So the substitution element is still something that puts you off quite significantly.
There's a bit in the programme where Sue says that she doesn't like the thought of the robot listening to her and being in the same room all the time. Not saying that Genie would do that, but is Genie on all the time, or do you sort of switch them on when you want to?
Well, all these devices, by regulation, the user should be able to turn them off if they want to. So Genie can be turned off. But in relation to that, I mean, our phones are listening all the time as well, and we got used to that. So I guess as the technology becomes more prevalent, maybe we will start feeling more comfortable about it as well.
And was this part of the trial that you did at the RBH?
So that was a different trial, also involved Genie. So we work with the elderly care ward at Royal Berkshire Hospital to see how healthcare practitioners would feel about introducing this type of technology in the ward. And we were quite surprised, actually, of how positive people felt about it. This hasn't been trialed yet with patients, and potentially that would be a next step. But we were interested first, like, would people within this organization be open to the idea, and how confident would they feel working and interacting with this type of technology?
You mentioned that Genie doesn't have hands, so is less threatening in that way. Do you think people like the idea of a human-like robot like we see in the TV show?
I think people, or some people, will be interested in that. And there are already some commercial humanoid robots available. I mean, on the top of my mind, there is Neo, which is a human-sized robot, but it doesn't have a skin like we do. It's more like fabric, but it's human-sized, and it can help you with chores like, I don't know, doing the laundry, the dishwasher, emptying the dishwasher, and some light cleaning as well. So I think potentially there is a market. I mean, it is expected to be a market worth $20 billion by 2030. So there is a lot of hopes, and that's why we're doing research at the Henley Business School to try to understand how can we develop robots that people feel comfortable having at home.
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating. And, you know, anything that can make people be safe and make their lives easier, that's great. I have just searched for an image of Neo, and no disrespect to the incredible work that has gone to creating this phenomenal piece of technology, but kind of looks like a taller, grey, slightly haunting Teletubby, so I'm not sure how I would feel about him being in my home. In the show as well, Linda, the robot, is pre-loved and an old model because she's very pricey. What is the cost of a robot like Neo?
Neo cost, if I remember correctly, around $10,000 just for the hardware. But then users need to pay a subscription for the software, which I think is around $200, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
But I think that just like what happened with computers that were super expensive when they just came out and only the government and military had access to this technology, and now because of how technology is becoming more affordable, now a laptop is pretty much everywhere. I think the expectation is that the technology will become more affordable for the masses in a couple of years' time.
And obviously you're working at the forefront of this. Would you let a robot care for you or a loved one of yours?
Well, very interestingly, I have brought Genie at home, and I have two small kids, and they have interacted quite well with Genie. And I don't know if I would leave them. I would be more worried for the robot if I left my kids with it, to be honest. But yeah.